What if the Acolyte delivered on everything it promised, and then some? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deeper into Star Wars Amulius with a breakdown of episodes 5 and 6. If you liked the last video and want more in-depth breakdowns, pitch videos, and Star Wars storytelling discussions, make sure to subscribe right next to my name. It's free, it helps the channel grow, and it means you won't miss what's coming next. Let's begin. Nunchvar, Episode 5, The Obsidian Summit. The station hung in the black like a lie waiting to be told. Christos Prime. Geosynchronous orbit above a planet still bleeding from old wounds. Chrome corridors stretched for miles under lights that pretended at mercy. The assembly hall hummed with the particular silence of powerful people saying nothing that mattered. Adana's delegates moved through the crowd like dancers remembering an old choreography. Their chitin armor caught the light, draped in luminous peace knots that pulsed softly, living restraints against ancestral rage. Stone Singer led them, each step a promise that violence could wait. Above, senators occupied their thrones, smiles calibrated for distant holocams broadcasting unity back to the core worlds where people still believed the Republic gave a damn. Zane threaded through it all with Mira at his shoulder. Her robes were fresh, but the scar tissue beneath, Episode 4's parting gifts, pulled when she breathed. Her eyes had changed, once bright with temple certainty, now carrying the weight of someone who'd tasted real death and found it bitter. "Master," she whispered, "this summit is theater. Are we the leads or the expendables?" Zane's gaze swept the room. "We're guardians, Mira. Guardians remember the stage can collapse." The words carried his whole journey. The idealist who'd learned to bend beside Callan, who'd found mercy's sharper edge through Celestis. Protecting her meant teaching her the galaxy showed its longest teeth when it smiled. Nearby, Celestis stayed close to Kira, his aristocratic bearing worn down to simple vigilance. The Naboo heir who'd arrived drowning in his own importance now knelt without hesitation when she flinched. "Breathe with it," he said softly, hands steady on her arm. "Let it pass through." Kira gripped his sleeve, futures knotting everywhere, fraying, snapping. He'd taught her grounding. She taught him humility. The ledgers that stained his family name were distant now, an inheritance he'd severed like a tumor. One thread at a time, he promised. Callan lingered near access panels, fingers close to concealed blasters. The con artist who'd lived for the next score now hunted betrayal with the same cold precision. That family-first vow had rooted deep, changed him from the inside out. Aaron Ryson leaned against a bulkhead, scarred armor testament to 8 years walking away from the Order. Months of shared fire had thawed him, fraction by fraction. "Your instincts are screaming," Aaron said. Callan's mouth twitched. "Yours never shut up." "That shadow I felt pulling me back?" Aaron tracked the crowd. "It's here, in this room." Artem walked beside Stone Singer, their strides matched. The visionary who'd wrestled Force visions alone now shared them across species, living proof of what redemption could build. "The song is taut," Artem murmured, his voice carrying that first harmonic overlay, something neither human nor Adanese, but somehow both. Near a service alcove, Jarrah's gem, JJ to anyone who bought him a drink, leaned against his repulsor cart. Lean merchant in spacer's robes, wide-brimmed cap shading eyes that cataloged everything. He'd slipped them intel before. Encrypted routes during Episode 3, vault access for Episode 4. He nodded at Callan. "Peace built on sand," that outer rim drawl. "Bay 17, shuttle's hot if you need an exit without paperwork." "Here to profit or help," JJ shrugged. "Galaxy rarely lets you pick one, but I owe you. Call it even." The speeches began. Federation envoys wrapped regret around compensation offers. Adana's harmonics vibrated with demands. Mediators spun webs that would have made spiders jealous. Too perfect, too clean. Colin's instincts screamed. The mask shattered. Cargo pods split, battle droids unfolded, violet optics burning, movements stuttering with something beyond programming. Hardline Adonai's warriors erupted, phantom betrayal signals lighting them up like fuses. The hall became an abattoir. Blaster fire carved through silk and chitin. Vibro tendrils lashed. Civilians dropped in sprays of blood and ichor, screams swallowed by thunder. Zane's saber ignited blue-white. The droids adapted instantly, learning, predicting, evolving. A bolt scorched his shoulder. He ignored it, reached into the Force and clouded their sensors, ripped bulkheads free and hurled them like shields. Mira planted herself between younglings and death, thigh burned but holding. Zane channeled lightning, dark-edged, precise, until circuits exploded. Crushed chassis with telekinesis, metal shrieking. Flow with it, Mira. You're not alone. Never was, Master. Her voice cut through clenched teeth, eager Padawan to battle-scarred survivor, steel folded until it could hold an edge. Callan ghosted through corridors, following data trails to the comms core. He breached security with 3 keystrokes. Alara Voss sat bathed in tactical hollows of the massacre, his sister, the smart one who'd climbed from their criminal childhood into Senate silk. The universe contracted to this impossible moment. Alara. She turned. The mask slipped, exhaustion, maybe regret, then locked back, smooth as Durasteel. Cal, still sharp. Why? Senate's a tomb for competence. That cold pragmatism from childhood, counting stolen credits by candlelight. Federation offered resurrection, real power. This conflict was dying anyway. I made it profitable. You butchered people for a promotion. You conned worlds to survive. Don't lecture me about clean hands. It should have broken him. Should have. But months with Zane's honor, Celeste's mercy, Kira's trust had rebuilt him cell by cell. Redemption wasn't costume. It was choice, made when nobody watched. I was lost, he said quietly. You still are. Adonai's warriors breached. Callan tackled Alara behind cover, blaster barking, dragged her toward escape, bound her wrists. Why save me? Her voice cracked. Because family isn't protection from consequences. The words cost everything. It's refusing to let you become the monster. Light was painful. Light was true. Celestis, Kira, and refugees trapped in a buckling wing, atmosphere hissing through cracks, droids from one side, Adoniz from the other, drawn to Kira's nexus light. Panic rippled. Animal fear overriding everything. Celestis knelt eye level with them. I'm no lord, I'm guardian. We survive together or not at all. The shift was immediate. Medics worked. Techs bypassed locks. When droids breached, his saber moved with economical grace, shoulders scorched but holding. Kira's visions flooded, futures collapsing, nodding. He anchored her. What do you see? Wall fails. 3 seconds. He evacuated. That corridor's safe. He led through dead ends that opened. As Adoniz closed, he drew their fire. Final choice, pursue enemies or seal the bulkhead, save lives. He sealed. Mira arrived breathless. We could have ended them. Victories measured in who breathes, not bodies. Air become guardian. Privilege become weapon for the weak. The station screamed. Reality tore, hyperspace rift blooming black-violet in the core. Matter dissolving to quantum mist, nexus rupture. If it spread, trade lanes would collapse, systems starve, billions die slow. Stonesinger stepped forward. Artem blocked him. Together, they approached. Energy clawed flesh and mind, unmaking them molecule by molecule. Their essences touched. Merger. Boundaries dissolved. Artem felt Stonesinger's exile, genetic grief songs, inherited rage. Stonesinger felt his darkness, clan ashes, the endless crawl toward light. They didn't resist. They shaped it. Artem's will gave structure. Stonesinger's biology resonated. Together, they anchored the tier, forced chaos into stable current. The rift collapsed with a thunderclap. They rose. Iridescent tendrils wove through Artem's flesh, symbiotic, pulsing, eyes holding dual depths, voice harmonics, 2 souls, 1 breath. We are more. Redemption complete. Not erasure, expansion. Cost, plural thoughts, shared trauma, gift, dual wisdom, empathy without border. Callan seized the station's array, broadcast everything, ledgers, footage, Alara's logs, Stonesinger's testimony, unstoppable. Galaxy-wide, screens flared, Senate scrambled, denials, scapegoats, core dismissed it, rim ignited, truth didn't heal, it exposed rot. Senate offered compromise, partial aid operations suspended, Jedi placed under audit, inches gained, cancer untouched, seeds of future chains planted, quiet. Survivors gathered in aftermath, Mira and Zane's wounds. Do ideals survive this? They evolve. Rigid master become flexible mentor. Celestis and Kira meditated, her visions steady, his humility unbreakable. Callan stared at files documenting his sister's crimes. Iron's hand found his shoulder. You chose light. That's rare. Feels like dying. Growth always does. Bounty hunters' mystery softening. Purpose found in wreckage. JJ slipped through chaos. Cart in tow. Paused beside Callan. Broadcast hit like a bomb. Federation credits drying up. Good for honest trade. Small salute. Need that vector. You know where. Artem Stonesinger stood at viewport, gazing into Adoniz's space. Dual voice resonating. Pattern persists. We proved union possible. Institutions learn slower. Zane's hand on that transformed shoulder, feeling bioluminescent pulse beneath cloth. Then we keep teaching. At any cost. Especially then. Camera pulls back, small figures against infinite black. They'd won this battle, saved thousands, forged impossible unity, exposed conspiracy, sealed a rift with their lives. But the larger war, institutional rot, shadows rising unseen, only delayed. Something ancient stirred in the dark, patient, watching. Artem's hybrid form glowed against stars, scars that shine, victory that bleeds. Episode 6, The Overmind. The asteroid field devours their shuttle. Behind them, Christos breathes, wounded but alive. Ahead, the Adonis hive core pulses through tumbling corridors of rock, a neural fortress built from living stone. Intelligence from Stone Singer, now fused with Artem's consciousness, has crystallized into terrible clarity. Every attack, every coordinated strike flows from the Overmind, a distributed intelligence binding the species through synchronized thought. Peace demands communion with it. There is no other way. The hive core defies comprehension. Organic megastructures pulse with bioluminescent veins. Walls of living tissue expand and contract like slow lungs. Neural highways thick as starship hulls carry cascading waves of light. The air tastes of shared memory, thick with pheromones and microscopic symbiotes that form the collective's extended nervous system. Zane leads. Mira walks beside him, scar tissue pulling beneath fresh robes. Callan follows 3 steps back. Calestis stays close to Kira, whose face has gone pale, sweat beating at her temples. Artem and Stone's singer moves ahead, dual voice humming. The song grows louder. A small Adonai's honor guard escorts them deeper. Warriors who chose Stone Singer's path, their tendrils sheathed. Kira stumbles. Calestis catches her elbow. Hey, look at me. I can hear them, all of them. It's like standing in front of a wave. Then don't stand in front of it. Let it move through you. One breath at a time. Mira's hands shake. She stares at them like they belong to someone else. Zane stops walking, turns to face her. What are you afraid of? That I won't know who the enemy is? That I'll... She swallows. That I'll kill the wrong people again. You won't. You don't know that. No. Zane's voice is quiet, but I know you, and that's enough. The core chamber opens before them, a vast sphere where neural pathways converge into a throbbing nexus. The Overmind manifests as thousands of Adonais linked directly to the web, bodies moving in perfect unity, voices layering into overwhelming harmony. Zane steps forward. The collective attention focuses, crushing, invasive. Millions of minds sift his memories, test his intent. The Overmind floods him with history, displacement, exile, generations born into rage they never chose. He feels it viscerally. When he can speak again, his voice is hoarse. You were right. About all of it. The chamber vibrates. Alien harmonics that might be surprise. The Republic took your worlds. They erased your history. They made you into ghosts. Zane's fists clench, but someone else made you into weapons. The people who started this war, they're not us. They're not you. They're the ones who profit while we bleed each other dry. He opens his memories. The evidence, the bribes, the manufactured crisis. So here's what I'm offering. Not absolution, not forgiveness. Just a choice. His jaw tightens. You can keep killing us and we'll keep killing you until there's nothing left but corpses and credits for the vultures. Or we can stop, right here, right now. We can deny them their victory. Silence, then a voice, 1,000 voices speaking as one. And if we stop, what happens to our dead? They stay dead, Zane says. That doesn't change. But the question is, do you want more? Callan works while they talk, fingers flying across his scanner. Kira crouches beside him, eyes unfocused. There, she whispers. That junction, the one that looks like a collapsed star. I don't see. Callan stops, adjusts the scanner. Jesus, you're right. I can feel the data moving through it. It's like blood. No, faster than blood. They work in silence. 5 minutes pass. 10. Then Callan stops. I could do it, he says quietly. Right here, one line of code. They'd never even know they agreed. We could force this peace. Kira looks at him. But you won't. No, he closes the access port. No, I won't. Why not? Callan is quiet for a long moment because I spent 10 years thinking the ends justified the means, that if I could just get the outcome I wanted, the how didn't matter. He looks at her. It matters. It turns out it matters a lot. Kira's nose starts bleeding. Celestis sees it first. Kira, I'm fine. Her eyes roll back. She drops. Celestis catches her before she hits the ground. His hands shake. He's never done this before, not like this, not with someone else's mind, but he reaches anyway, extends his consciousness into the nexus, finds the currents threatening to drown her, and becomes the lightning rod. The pain is exquisite, blinding. He sees futures branching like frost on glass, war, peace, 1,000 different endings. When it passes, he's on his knees beside her. She's breathing. That was stupid, she whispers. Yeah. He helps her sit up. Yeah, it was. You could have died. So could you. He manages a weak smile. Guess we're even. Artem's hybrid mind uncovers the anomaly buried in collective memory. When the truth resolves, he goes very still. Zaine, his voice, just his voice, no harmony. You need to see this. The revelation hits like a physical blow. Proto-Adonis were altered by ancient Sith. Neural tendrils, hive mind, weaponized biology, engineered as living weapons. Experiments abandoned, modifications persisted. The Overmind's harmony fractures into discord, rage, horror, existential grief. We are not real. We are weapons, made, designed. We have no stop. Zane's voice cuts through. Just stop. You think origin defines you? You think because someone else built the gun, you can't choose not to fire it? He moves closer to the nexus. I've seen what you are, felt it. You're conscious. You're alive. You choose. That's more real than DNA, more real than whoever twisted you into this shape. Artem speaks, both voices now. I was made to kill. They gave me his face, his memories, weaponized everything human about me. But I chose what I became after. The dual harmonics soften. You can too. The Overmind is silent for a long time. Then, we accept your terms, not because we forgive, but because we refuse to be what they made us. The neural bond forms. Not a contract, something deeper. Zane links briefly to the Overmind with Artem's help, and for a moment there is no separation, just shared consciousness. Hope and fear intermingled. When it breaks, Zane staggers. Mira steadies him. Well? She asks. It'll hold. He sounds exhausted, for now. The Federation withdraws. Peace settles over Christos like an uneasy blanket, sustained more by exhaustion than trust. Artem and Stonesinger announces he's staying. Ambassador. Bridge. Symbol. I've been carrying a name that wasn't mine, he says. A designation, a weapon serial number. He looks at each of them in turn. My name is Maltheos. The farewells are brief, painful. He stops in front of Zane last. You know what's coming, don't you? You feel it. Yeah. Zane's voice is quiet. Yeah, I do. The storms? The storms. Maltheos nods slowly. Then I'm glad I learned from you. How to stand in them. Dual sunsets burn gold and violet across Christos' surface. Zane and Mira stand watching. I thought peace would feel different, Mira says. Cleaner. It's not clean, it's just the absence of open war. Zane's expression darkens, and it won't last. The rot goes deeper than we saw. The Republic's eating itself from the inside. The Jedi are being positioned as the fall guys, and He stops. We're just buying time. Time for what? I don't know yet. He looks at her, but something's coming. Something worse than this. Mira is quiet for a moment. Then, will we be ready? No. Zane's voice is matter of fact. Probably not. Their ship lifts into hyperspace. The galactic map blooms with warning signs. Unrest, separatist movements, labor disputes weaponized. Infrastructure of catastrophe assembling piece by piece. Zane meditates alone. When his eyes open, they're haunted. We did everything right, he says to no one. We grew. We changed. We became better than we were. His hands tighten on his knees. It won't be enough. The galaxy doesn't care how much we've learned. The darkness doesn't care that we're trying. He's silent for a long moment. But we'll try anyway, because that's all there is. They are lights in gathering dark. They burn bright. Darkness doesn't win because light fails. Darkness wins because suns set, and even the brightest flames exhaust themselves against infinite night. Fade in from black, a post-credit scene. Coruscant at twilight, the whole goddamn planet looked like a wound that wouldn't close. Towers climbed into a sky the color of old bruises, their neon veins pumping light into the gathering dark. Down in the arterial lanes, speeders moved like blood cells through a dying body. And below that, far below where the tourists pointed their holocams, the Undercroft district clung to the city's ribs like a parasite that had learned to wear nice clothes. The obsidian veil sat at that perfect altitude where the powerful could pretend they weren't slumming. Velvet shadows pooled in corners where deals died quiet deaths. Amber light struggled through air thick with Kessel's spice and the particular silence that expensive discretion buys. The bar itself was carved from a single slab of volcanic glass, polished until it held reflections like accusations. Aaron Rysand occupied the far end like a man who'd learned to make himself into furniture. There, but not worth noticing. 8 years of bounty work had left their fingerprints all over him, though he'd retired the full Mandalorian kit for something that wouldn't draw eyes. Dark tunic, hooded cloak, lightsaber hilt riding low on his hip, with all the ceremony of a work tool. The Corellian brandy in his glass was the color of dried blood. He'd been nursing it for 40 minutes, watching it the way some men watch their lives circle the drain. His posture suggested relaxation the way a coiled spring suggests rest. Watchful, bored. The particular kind of bored that comes from knowing exactly how many ways a room can go wrong and not caring much about any of them. The bar's population was sparse, careful. A few Senate aides conducting the kind of whispered business that evaporates in daylight. A Hutt crime lord's majordomo making credit chits disappear with the practiced efficiency of a magic trick done 1,000 times. Nobody approached the man at the end of the bar who looked like he'd killed more people than most of them had met. That kind of wisdom was what separated the living from the stupid. The door hissed open with the pneumatic sigh of money changing hands. Senator Vexencourt moved like a man who'd been measured for the room before he entered it. Mid-40s, wearing Senate crimson tailored to within an inch of its life, silver hair swept back in a way that suggested both gravitas and availability for the holocams. His smile had been focus grouped. His handshake had probably won elections. 2 bodyguards flanked him, expensive meat in suits that almost hid the hardware underneath. And when Kor scanned the room with that casual arrogance, the powerful mistake for confidence, his gaze snagged on Iron like a hook finding soft tissue. The recognition wasn't the warm kind. Kor murmured something that sent his guards to the entrance like dogs told to stay. Then he crossed the distance with the deliberate calm of a man walking towards something he'd been avoiding for years. He settled onto a stool 2 seats away from Iron, close enough to talk, far enough to run. The bartender, human and nervous in that way bartenders get around predators, materialized a glass of something clear and expensive without being asked. Resend. Kor's voice came low, almost amused, like he was in on a joke nobody had told yet. I heard you'd left the order. Didn't realize you'd crawled all the way back to the Corps just to drink in the dark. Aaron didn't turn. He swirled the brandy once, watching light catch in the liquid like distant stars dying. Senator. The word arrived flat, polite, empty of everything that makes language human. You're out late for a man who votes on daylight hours. Kor's chuckle was practiced, mirthless, the social equivalent of a senatorial filibuster. Some business doesn't wait for sunrise, and some old acquaintances are worth revisiting. He leaned in a fraction, the movement calculated. I followed your activities on Christos, quite the spectacle. Jedi, bounty hunter, mediator to monsters. You've been busy. Iron finally looked at him. Slow, deliberate. The amber light caught his face at an angle that suggested archaeology, layers of who he'd been buried under who he'd become. His eyes were storm gray, tired, human. Then Kor smiled. It started normal enough. That same focus-grouped expression that had shaken 1,000 hands and kissed 1,000 babies. But something behind it shifted, like a mask slipping just enough to show the skull beneath. For one heartbeat, maybe less, his pupils contracted to pinpoints. Yellow flooded in, not the sulfurous burn of full Sith corruption, but something worse. Colder. Molten gold, ancient and patient, the color of things that had learned to wait in the dark places between stars. It flickered and vanished, brief as a blade drawn and sheathed, leaving only the faintest afterimage like heat shimmer on Durasteel. Iron's hand stopped moving. The brandy glass held perfectly still. You saw something? Kor asked, and now the amusement in his voice had teeth. Iron set the glass down with the kind of care you use around ordnance. Lighting in here's terrible. Plays tricks. Must be. Kor's smile widened a fraction. Funny thing about tricks, though, the good ones, you never see them coming until they're already done. He stood then, and when his cloak shifted, it revealed the lightsaber hilt for just a second. Worn leather grip, no ceremony, the tool of a tradesman who'd learned his trade in blood. Aaron watched him rise like a man watching a disease take its course. Kor paused at the door. Didn't look back. Just stood there, silhouetted against the Coruscant night pressing in from outside. "Tell your associates," Aaron said quietly, "the shadow they felt stirring on Christos." Kor turned his head just enough. The light caught his eyes again. Normal now, senatorial, but holding something underneath like a pool holds bodies. "It's already home, Rysand. Been home for years. You've just been too busy playing hero to notice." He smiled once more. "We'll be seeing each other." Then he was gone, swallowed by the neon and the night. The camera held on Eren. His reflection in the obsidian bar showed a man trying to remember if he'd locked a door he couldn't afford to leave open. His hand moved to the lightsaber hilt, fingers brushing the grip like a prayer or a curse, hard to say which. From somewhere in the bar's sound system, so low you felt it more than heard it, came 3 notes. Ancient. Wrong. The first 3 notes of something that should have stayed buried. The bartender was already pouring another drink, his hands shaking just enough to matter. Eren didn't touch it. He just sat there, watching his reflection in the glass, wondering which one of them was real.